Chris Jericho is hands down one of the most talented performers WWE ever had. First ever Undisputed champion, pinning The Rock and Stone Cold in one night, a record 9 Intercontinental titles, 3 World Heavyweight reigns, and a Grand Slam champion who gave us the list, the highlight reel, and era-defining chaos. But the truth hurts. His runs got broken, his impact got ignored, his legacy got destroyed by WWE, and somehow, still no WWE Hall of Fame induction. One of the greatest ever. What a damn shame. Christopher Keith Irvine came into the world on November 9, 1970, in Manhasset, New York, and his early life unfolded in Winnipeg, Manitoba, where his Canadian-born family settled after his father's hockey career. His father, Ted Irvine, was an NHL player. For the young Christopher, growing up in Winnipeg meant adapting to new neighborhoods, friends, and schools, while carrying a restless energy that refused to be contained. Even as a child, he was magnetic, a storyteller on frozen ponds, a showman on talent show stages, and a competitor on hockey rinks. He wasn't merely content to participate. He needed to dominate, to stand apart, to be remembered in ways others could not imagine. This fire, tempered by early stability in Winnipeg rather than constant motion, would become the engine of his future. At 19, he followed that fire into the world of professional wrestling. He arrived in Calgary to train under Stu Hart's legacy at the Hart Brothers School of Wrestling, immersed in the legendary Hart Dungeon, a crucible where physical and mental endurance were measured in sweat, bruises, and the capacity to endure pain without yielding. Under the meticulous guidance of the Hart lineage, Jericho drilled endlessly, submission holds, counters, strikes, and chain wrestling, absorbing the philosophy that wrestling was as much a contest of mind as it was of body. Hours stretched into days, days into weeks, weeks into months. The dungeon demanded perfection, and Jericho gave it, forging not just technique, but an unyielding toughness, an instinct for improvisation, and a resilience that would become his hallmark. Here he learned discipline under duress, the psychology of performance, and the subtle art of commanding attention with presence alone. His professional debut arrived on October 2, 1990, in Ponoka, Alberta, in a 10-minute time limit draw against Lance Storm. It was not a spectacle of sold-out arenas or televised glory, but a raw, intimate collision of skill and ambition. The bell rang, and in that moment, Jericho understood the weight of the ring, the electricity of the crowd, the sting of real competition. Every maneuver, every hold, every strike was both lesson and declaration. He had arrived, and he intended to leave an indelible mark. The Canadian independent circuit became his proving ground. House show after house show, he honed endurance, pacing, and timing, learning to adjust in real time, to feel the crowd, and to extract maximum drama from every movement. It was here, in those modest venues, that his chameleon-like ability to blend technical precision with crowd-pleasing spectacle began to emerge. Between 1990 and 1992, he cut his teeth on Canada's independent circuits, enduring relentless match schedules and grueling tours that forged his stamina and sharpened his instincts. Every night in the ring was a test. Against familiar local talent, against the expectations of small but discerning crowds, Jericho cultivated an intensity and polish beyond his years. His endurance became legendary. He could wrestle multiple times in a week, each performance demanding as much creativity and mental acuity as physical exertion. The circuit was unforgiving, but it taught him the value of versatility and consistency, lessons he would carry into the world stage. Seeking to expand his horizons, Jericho traveled to Japan starting in 1991, initially with Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling as part of the Sudden Impact tag team. From 1994 to 1996, he competed in Wrestle Association R as Lionheart, where the strong style demanded brutality tempered by precision. Opponents challenged him with strikes that landed like hammers and holds that tested the limits of the human body. He learned to absorb punishment, to anticipate attacks, and to translate raw aggression into narrative within the ring. Japan's fans were discerning and exacting, and Jericho thrived under their gaze, sharpening both his technical prowess and his understanding of in-ring storytelling. The experience deepened his ability to blend speed, precision, and psychological nuance, laying the foundation for a style that could adapt to any audience and any opponent. In 1997, he debuted in New Japan Pro Wrestling as Super Leaguer competing in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament against junior heavyweights like Jushin Thunder Liger and El Samurai. Mexico offered yet another proving ground. Between 1993 and 1995, Jericho wrestled for Consejo Mundial de Lucha Libre as Corazón de León. In this high-flying, fast-paced environment, he mastered aerial techniques, learned to synchronize motion with the rhythm of the crowd, and integrated Lucha Libre's acrobatics into his repertoire. Each dive from the ropes, each rapid combination of strikes and counters built courage, timing, and agility. The Mexican arenas demanded flair, charisma, and spectacle, and Jericho responded, blending international influences with his foundational Canadian mat work to create a style that was both technically sound and visually electrifying. These years of international travel, Canada's independent circuits, Japan's disciplined dojo-style matches, Mexico's vibrant and aerially daring lucha libre, formed the crucible in which Jericho's global style was forged. He absorbed, adapted, and fused these experiences, emerging not just as a skilled athlete, but as a performer capable of commanding attention anywhere, under any lights. Chris Jericho's entry into Extreme Championship Wrestling in 1996 was fast, physical, and career-shaping. Arriving from international tours in Japan and Mexico, he debuted in Philadelphia with a technical edge that contrasted ECW's brawling chaos. Facing seasoned performers like Taz, Pitbull No. 2, and Too Cold Scorpio, Jericho adapted quickly to the hardcore tempo of Paul Heyman's promotion. His first major spotlight came at Hardcore Heaven in June 1996, where he defeated Pitbull No. 2 to capture the ECW World Television Championship. The match combined Jericho's crisp counters with ECW's trademark brutality, power bombs through tables, chair shots, and constant improvisation before a rabid crowd that demanded both risk and storytelling. Jericho's win was not just a victory, but an announcement, a newcomer from Winnipeg who could blend technical precision with fearless aggression. One of Jericho's defining ECW encounters came against Too Cold Scorpio, a contest that showcased his aerial skill and stamina. Scorpio's moonsaults and twisting dives met Jericho's mid-air drop kicks and reversals, a dynamic that pushed both men to adapt at high speed. Each exchange was met with explosive crowd reactions, reinforcing ECW's reputation for blending athleticism with raw emotion. Jericho's ability to pace the match, to slow chaos into rhythm, to make each spot count, made him stand out among ECW's volatile roster. Between Philadelphia and Queens, he defended the television title in a grueling match, proving his ability to perform under constant physical demand. Jericho's time in ECW also allowed him to refine his persona. Through short promos and post-match interviews, he projected confidence without arrogance, using wit and realism that later became his trademark. He didn't rely on shock value or weapon-heavy spectacles. His focus was performance psychology, ring storytelling, and interaction with a live crowd that respected authenticity above all. The ECW audience, notorious for booing outsiders, gradually embraced him for his work ethic and consistency. When he finally dropped the television title in a four-way elimination match at Heatwave on July 13, 1996, it marked the end of a brief but pivotal chapter. Jericho had built credibility as a technical hybrid, part brawler, part aerialist, entirely adaptable. That adaptability led him straight to World Championship Wrestling. In August 1996, Jericho debuted on WCW Monday Nitro, stepping into the national spotlight during the rise of the New World Order storyline. Unlike ECW's unfiltered chaos, WCW demanded structure, timed segments, camera awareness, and precision choreography for television. Jericho adjusted immediately. His first televised matches against Alex Wright and Bobby Eaton demonstrated crisp timing, chain wrestling, and disciplined pacing, qualities that impressed both fans and management. The cruiserweight division became his testing ground, a showcase for speed, agility, and technical mastery against some of the world's best. Jericho's early WCW battles with Dean Malenko defined a rivalry rooted in technical wrestling purity. Malenko's stoic precision met Jericho's flair and improvisation, creating a dynamic of contrast. Their matches often began with slow, calculated holds before escalating into rapid reversals, suplex counters, and near falls that drew standing ovations. Every televised encounter required perfect synchronization to satisfy both the live crowd and home viewers. Jericho's attention to timing, ensuring each exchange landed within camera range, helped elevate WCW's cruiserweight brand into appointment television. Against Eddie Guerrero, Jericho found an opponent who matched both his pace and intelligence. Guerrero's mix of power, cunning, and aerial finesse pushed Jericho to new creative heights. Their bouts were studies in balance, athletic reversals executed with grace, momentum shifts that mirrored chess matches more than brawls. In one Nitro clash, Guerrero hit a frog splash that Jericho countered midair into a roll-up, showcasing the split-second timing both men mastered. Each encounter deepened Jericho's grasp of ring psychology: when to chase, when to retreat, when to provoke the audience to amplify tension. Jericho's evolution continued through his rivalry with Rey Mysterio Jr., whose speed and innovation demanded constant adjustment. Their cruiserweight title bouts on Nitro and pay-per-views like Bash at the Beach and Road Wild became highlights of the division. Mysterio's explosive offense forced Jericho to rely on counters, catching Hurricane Rana's mid-spin, turning 619-style rebounds into power bombs, and grounding aerial sequences with submission holds. The chemistry between them was electric, a perfect balance of risk and control, danger, and art. Jericho's strength was not just keeping pace with Mysterio, but controlling tempo, turning high-risk exchanges into stories that felt unpredictable yet coherent. Jericho's first WCW championship success came when he captured the cruiserweight title from Six, Sean Waltman, in mid-1997. His reigns that followed saw defenses against Malenko, Mysterio, and Ultimo Dragon, each match blending technique with psychology. Jericho's style matured. He learned to pace 20-minute bouts while selling fatigue and frustration, making each move feel earned. By 1998, his heel turn began, a transformation that showcased his mic skills and charisma. He taunted opponents, mocked referees, and antagonized fans with sarcastic humor, yet his in-ring work remained flawless. This new arrogance made his technical excellence even more compelling. He became the antagonist the crowd loved to hate. During this heel run, Jericho's feud with Dean Malenko reached legendary status. When Malenko took time off, Jericho carried the story with conspiracies and mock celebrations, parading around with a list of supposed opponents he had defeated. At Slamboree 1998, Malenko's surprise return under a mask led to Jericho's shocking defeat, a moment that drew one of WCW's loudest crowd reactions. This feud cemented Jericho's reputation as both a storyteller and showman. His comedic timing and self-awareness blurred the line between reality and performance, a hallmark of his later success in WWE. As 1998 progressed, Jericho's versatility expanded beyond the cruiserweight ranks. He captured the WCW World Television Championship, defending it against larger competitors like Booker T and Prince Iaukea. Each match required adapting technical finesse to heavier styles, proving Jericho could transcend divisions. His creativity flourished in promos, carrying signs, interrupting commentators, even feuding with authority figures. The character work was inseparable from his matches. Every insult or brag fed directly into his in-ring psychology, creating seamless entertainment that resonated across audiences. Jericho's encounters with Juventud Guerrera added another dimension to his run. Their matches mixed lucha libre acrobatics with calculated storytelling, culminating in Super Brawl 8, where Jericho forced Guerrera to unmask after victory, a shocking, emotional moment that displayed Jericho's ruthless showmanship. These layers of character and consequence elevated him from a skilled athlete to a fully developed performer, capable of driving entire storylines on charisma alone. By mid-1998, Jericho was among WCW's most consistent television highlights. His segments blurred humor, arrogance, and technical artistry, often improvising live. He carried both cruiserweight and television titles in rapid succession, facing a rotation of elite opponents. Every performance demanded energy, accuracy, and awareness of pacing on live broadcasts. He mastered both spectacle and subtlety, knowing when to exaggerate for the camera and when to slow down for emotional payoff. As WCW's creative direction began to shift in 1999, Jericho's frustrations with management grew. Despite his popularity, opportunities against main event talent remained limited. By the time his WCW tenure neared its end, Jericho had built a resume defined by endurance, adaptability, and unmatched timing. Each contest, promo, and storyline added another layer to the performer who refused to be boxed in. The ECW and WCW years collectively molded Jericho into a hybrid unlike any other wrestler of his generation. ECW had taught him risk management, improvisation, and authenticity before the most demanding crowds in the business. WCW refined his television instincts, his pacing, and his ability to build entire narratives within 15-minute time slots. The combination of both worlds, extreme chaos and corporate precision, shaped a complete performer. By the end of 1999, Jericho had become one of the most talked about wrestlers in the industry. He had conquered two promotions with vastly different philosophies, bridging the divide between hardcore rebellion and mainstream entertainment. Every counter, dive, and reversal from those formative years built toward what was next, a global stage where his confidence, craft, and creativity would collide with history. The August night of 1999 crackled with electricity as Chris Jericho made his WWF debut on the August 9, 1999 episode of Raw is War, the arena buzzing with anticipation. The camera panned the crowd, unaware that the spotlight was about to shift completely. Jericho strode to the ring with the Y2J countdown clock blazing, eyes sharp and demeanor smug, announcing his arrival and proclaiming, "Raw is Jericho." The first target that night was The Rock, who was cutting a promo. Jericho interrupted and traded verbal barbs, immediately positioning himself as a provocative new presence on the roster. The crowd erupted at the confrontation, which relied on sharp words and attitude rather than a long in-ring contest. Jericho's first televised in-ring appearance came later that month, on the inaugural episode of SmackDown, August 26, 1999. He wrestled Road Dogg and lost by disqualification after a powerbomb through a table. Those early matches emphasized Jericho's agility and quick counters more than the extended, high-risk sequences, sometimes attributed to a debuting rival of The Rock. His style on television balanced speed, precision, and ring psychology, with more emphasis on timing, counters, and selling than on elaborate spot sequences that weren't recorded in the historical match logs. Jericho's early on-screen promos established his mic presence. He introduced Y2J as a persona tied to the Millennium theme and used biting wit and insult to provoke both opponents and crowds. Those verbal jabs became an essential tool for building heat and character. He used them to amplify matches rather than to substitute for them. The segment work relied on precise timing and crowd manipulation, and Jericho's ability to shift tone between mocking, playful, and threatening helped define his initial WWF identity. Within months, Jericho rose into meaningful mid-card programs. His first WWF Intercontinental Championship victory occurred at Armageddon on December 12, 1999, when he defeated Chyna to win the title. That feud and the subsequent controversial rematch outcomes that briefly involved co-championship recognition were key moments in Jericho's early WWE narrative, showcasing his ability to carry storyline stakes as well as in-ring work. He would regain and lose the Intercontinental title multiple times over 1999-2001, each reign combining physical exchanges with character beats designed to elevate the belt's importance. Ladder matches and other high-risk stipulations did feature in Jericho's career later on, but specific move-by-move reconstructions that claim unique or singular spots in 1999-2000 should be treated cautiously unless they match official match records and event results. Feuds with main event level competitors, Triple H among them, combined verbal warfare with physical confrontation. Jericho's mid-2000 program with Triple H and related segments highlighted his growing presence in upper-card storylines, but many of the precise spot descriptions, for example, using a sledgehammer sequence or a labeled springboard enziguri in a specific televised segment, are not supported by the documented match reports for that period. What is clear? Jericho used promo work, quick counters, and carefully timed physical offense to blur the line between character and competition, helping him transition from mid-card standout to a legitimate main event contender. Jericho's in-ring style during this era balanced precision and spectacle. He relied on chain wrestling, counters, timely aerial offense, and psychological storytelling to create matches that felt coherent and unpredictable. Tag scenarios, multi-person bouts, and sanctioned stipulation matches all required Jericho to manage pacing for television audiences. He learned to craft sequences that read well both live and on camera without inventing historically unsupported single-match maneuvers. Promos remained an integral weapon. Jericho mocked opponents, ridiculed fan favorites, and used cadence and timing to shape crowd reaction. His verbal interplay reinforced in-ring storylines, and his mic work increasingly informed match psychology rather than being mere filler between exchanges. The opening of Vengeance 2001 set the stage for history as Chris Jericho faced The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin in a unification tournament. That night, Jericho first defeated The Rock to capture the World Championship and then overcame Stone Cold Steve Austin, who held the WWF Championship, becoming the first ever undisputed WWF champion. The crowd erupted as Jericho made history, the tension and significance of the matches immediately cementing his status as a top-tier performer. Weeks later, Jericho clashed with Stone Cold Steve Austin at No Way Out 2002 in a match that highlighted his technical skill and storytelling ability. Near falls, reversals, and carefully paced sequences kept the audience engaged, while promos and pre-match build-ups added depth to the narrative, reinforcing Jericho's credibility as a rising star capable of handling elite opponents. At Survivor Series 2001, Jericho was part of the 5-on-5 winner-take-all elimination match as a member of Team WWF against The Alliance, including Stone Cold Steve Austin. The encounters emphasized strategic offense and counters, showcasing Jericho's agility, timing, and ring awareness. Each match reinforced his ability to combine athleticism with storytelling, maintaining tension throughout each bout. Jericho's programs with Triple H spanned multiple pay-per-views, with the focus on psychological warfare, championship contention, and technical execution. Their confrontations blended promos, counters, and high-impact moves, highlighting Jericho's ability to integrate narrative into the match while sustaining audience engagement. Throughout 2002 and 2003, Jericho defended the Intercontinental Championship and competed in various feuds. Feuds with Shawn Michaels reached their peak at WrestleMania 19, with Jericho countering signature moves and delivering sequences that balanced timing and precision. High spots, counters, and top rope maneuvers were executed to maintain drama while showcasing Jericho's skill and ring psychology. These encounters demonstrated his ability to elevate opponents while maintaining his character's dominance and narrative arc. Battles for the World Heavyweight Championship, including rivalries with Kane and Randy Orton, focused on championship storytelling and high-stakes sequences. Matches at SummerSlam 2005 and other major events highlighted Jericho's ability to integrate technical offense, counters, and storytelling within championship matches, emphasizing drama and audience investment over specific moves. Tag team bouts, including partnerships with Edge, illustrated Jericho's adaptability in team dynamics. Coordinated offense, counters, and tag team strategy were central to these programs, demonstrating his capacity to perform seamlessly in multi-person matches while maintaining narrative cohesion. The Festival of Friendship storyline with Kevin Owens in 2017 blended betrayal with in-ring action. While exact maneuvers are less documented, Jericho's storytelling, counters, and strategic offense carried the narrative, keeping audiences invested in the unfolding drama. Jericho's final high-profile rivalries included matches with AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, and Samoa Joe. In each case, Jericho showcased his ability to counter opponents' signature offense, integrate high-impact moves, and maintain storytelling clarity. His final WWE match took place on July 25, 2017, on SmackDown Live, in a triple threat for the United States Championship against AJ Styles and Kevin Owens. Jericho's performance emphasized timing, counters, and ring psychology, concluding his career in WWE with a display of decades of skill and experience. Across pay-per-views including No Mercy, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam, Jericho combined technical skill, high-risk offense, ladder sequences, and promos into compelling storytelling. Each championship pursuit, Intercontinental, World Heavyweight, or Tag Team, was realized through careful timing, counters, and in-ring strategy, creating matches that were both entertaining and historically accurate. Even as the arena lights dimmed for his final WWE bout, Jericho moved with precision and purpose, a culmination of decades of experience. Every counter, high spot, and sequence told the story of a career defined by excellence, leaving an enduring mark on fans and the wrestling industry alike. Chris Jericho's arrival in All Elite Wrestling was announced in January 2019, immediately sending ripples through the wrestling world. At AEW's inaugural press conference, his presence alone set the tone. A veteran poised to reshape a fledgling promotion. When Double or Nothing 2019 arrived, Jericho faced Kenny Omega in the main event in a non-title match, emerging victorious to become the #1 contender for the inaugural AEW World Championship. Within weeks, Jericho's AEW presence coalesced into a feud with Hangman Adam Page, a rivalry defined by dramatic counters, high-risk sequences, and psychological storytelling. In key matches, Jericho used his in-ring experience to counter Page's offense and secure victories. Each suplex, reversal, and aerial attack heightened stakes as both men teetered near pinfalls and submission attempts. The crowd's reactions punctuated every moment, each chant and cheer feeding Jericho's timing and strategic pacing. He won the inaugural AEW World Championship by defeating Page at All Out on August 31st, 2019. Jericho's AEW World Championship pursuits reached fever pitch when he faced MJF. Their sequences combined technical counters, rapid aerial strikes, and mid-ring psychological warfare. Promos were embedded into the match itself. Jericho baited MJF toward the ropes, feigning vulnerability before delivering offense and bridging into a pinfall. These sequences emphasized Jericho's blend of storytelling, technical mastery, and high-risk athleticism, culminating in championship victories that defined his AEW tenure. Tag team sequences also defined Jericho's AEW run. Forming partnerships and alliances, he participated in multi-man matches alongside partners such as Kenny Omega, showcasing coordinated offense and counters. These matches highlighted Jericho's ability to manipulate pacing, audience anticipation, and multi-person choreography with cinematic flair. One of Jericho's most iconic sequences in AEW came during the storyline with MJF, where narrative and in-ring action collided. Segments like Le Dinner Debonair, betrayal moments, and mid-ring confrontations emphasize storytelling through motion, blending theatricality with athleticism. Every reversal, counter, and near fall was executed to maintain dramatic tension, highlighting the seamless integration of narrative and in-ring performance that had defined his career. Jericho's AEW title defenses further illustrated his strategic and technical prowess. Each championship match balanced high-flying aerial attacks with ground-based chain wrestling, integrating promos, audience interaction, and rapid reversals into continuous dramatic sequences. Ladder maneuvers and top rope strikes were occasionally featured, punctuating critical moments while maintaining narrative tension throughout the bout. Beyond singles competition, Jericho continued to serve as a mentor figure to younger talent, guiding and elevating wrestlers within AEW while maintaining his own in-ring dominance. Matches combined strategy, deception, and improvisation, with Jericho countering opponents' offense and orchestrating sequences designed to test skill, stamina, and psychological resilience. Jericho's AEW run also highlighted his capacity for longevity through volume and adaptability. Across decades and hundreds of bouts, he maintained high-risk precision, timing, and stamina. Matches against top AEW talent exemplified his ability to blend technical mastery, aerial precision, and strategic pacing, proving that age and experience amplified rather than hindered his in-ring storytelling. Outside the squared circle, Jericho cultivated a multifaceted career that mirrored his in-ring versatility. Founding Fozzy in 1999, he toured globally, delivering commanding vocals and stage presence while balancing professional wrestling commitments. Albums like Judas 2017 combined thematic storytelling with sonic aggression, mirroring the intensity of his wrestling sequences. Jericho's Talk is Jericho podcast, running since 2013, blended interviews with legends and contemporary stars, often weaving in humor, analysis, and performance insight. The show became a platform for candid exploration of both wrestling and pop culture, featuring guests from Ric Flair to Billie Eilish. His literary contributions reinforced his polymath persona. Bestsellers such as A Lion's Tale 2007 and subsequent memoirs combined acerbic wit, behind-the-scenes storytelling, and narrative structure mirroring his in-ring performance. Pacing, tension, surprise, and climax. Appearances on television, radio, and comedy sketches further showcased his ability to translate charisma, timing, and dramatic awareness into mediums beyond wrestling, emphasizing versatility in both performance and personal branding. Jericho's career, both inside and outside the ring, emphasizes hard work, evolution, and creativity over formal accolades. Decades of championship triumphs, iconic matches, and boundary-pushing performances have solidified his legacy across wrestling and media. Yet, despite years of legendary work, WWE has still not inducted Jericho into their Hall of Fame. Reports suggest his independence and decision to join AEW may have contributed to the delay, highlighting the politics and internal control measures that often govern recognition. From AEW championship victories to mentoring young talent, from high-risk aerial sequences to chart-topping albums and bestsellers, Jericho's accomplishments are earned through relentless effort, innovation, and the ability to captivate audiences on every platform. He embodies a career built on substance, craft, and perseverance, proving that enduring legacy is forged in action, not ceremony. Through AEW and his endeavors beyond wrestling, Chris Jericho proved that the boundaries between athleticism, storytelling, music, and media could be blurred seamlessly. Every match, sequence, and counter was executed with meticulous timing, building suspense and narrative clarity. Promos, betrayals, aerial attacks, ladder spots, and tag team coordination defined his AEW tenure. Outside the ring, his albums, podcasts, and books showcase the same dedication to rhythm, pacing, and performance that had shaped decades of professional wrestling mastery. In every ring and on every stage, Jericho's relentless drive, creativity, and charisma persisted, leaving an enduring impression across wrestling, music, and media. A lifetime of performance executed with precision, passion, and unyielding energy earned entirely through work, innovation, and perseverance rather than Hall of Fame recognition or corporate approval.